Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the And She Said podcast. I'm Rachel, and today we're going to talk about how to get over feeling unmotivated and exiting lazy girl era. I've been having a struggle recently with my motivation and lack thereof, so it has inspired me to create this podcast episode so we can open a conversation on productivity and motivation and all that fun stuff. Before we get actually into the topic, I do have some brief updates on my life to share with you guys. We're moving, which means we have a lot of things to do. Okay? And not only are we moving, but we're moving August 30th. August 30th, we're getting the keys for our apartment, which is fantastic, and we're super excited, and it's going to be really awesome. But that means we have, today's the 9th, so 21 days, 3 weeks exactly. And I haven't done anything. So this is probably contributing to my laziness, but nonetheless, let's move on. I'm honestly really excited because of our apartment is so nice, and it's honestly a bigger space than our last apartment, which is something that we weren't really going for, but we're glad we have, if that makes sense. So also a little bonus to our apartment is we're getting a 2-bedroom. So I will have like a little space to like create like an office. I can't wait. I'm so excited. That way I can just have like my computer in there and all my stuff that I like to work on outside of my full-time job, and basically my hobby. It's gonna be like my hobby room, but I am very excited. I can't wait. If you would like to see more moving content, I will be doing a moving series on this channel of the entire process and how that's going, basically. Okay, so now that I have that little update out of the way and you guys understand what's been going on in my life, let's get into today's topic. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is why we lack motivation, or where that loss of motivation comes from. Recently, I've felt this lack of motivation, and honestly, that's because that's what it is. So, as you all know, because I say it like every episode, I'm in prep for a bodybuilding show. And being in prep for a bodybuilding show is extreme. It's very extreme. I have virtually no balance in my life, and I do the same exact things every single day. I wake up, I work out, I eat, I go to work, I work out again, I go to bed. It's not a glamorous lifestyle, but we're doing it, you know? Tired is my new permanent emotion. But prep takes like a lot of your energy, and what energy you do have, you kind of have to allocate it where it needs to go. And for me, a lot of that allocation goes to work, because I can't let my full-time job go to the back burner just because I'm doing this thing. You know what I mean? I have to maintain my job. So that's kind of where all my energy's been going right now. And my workouts. Can't forget about those. With all this craziness that's been going on in my life, I kind of have a feeling of like overwhelm. And I think that's not helping my lack of motivation at all. So like, even when it comes to moving, obviously I'm super excited to move and I can't wait. But I'm also like, I just don't want to do it. You know, I'm just like, I can't be bothered. That's kind of how I feel. Like, I can't be bothered to do anything. Let me go turn the air conditioner off because I forgot. Okay, now that it's going to be about 100 degrees in here, let's move on. Okay, so if you're like me and right now you're feeling generally unmotivated and lazy, maybe this will help you. So let's get into it. Okay, I have a bunch of tips that I kind of want to share for productivity, but before I get into that, I want to discuss something we need to talk about, and it's knowing when to slow down. And I think that especially in society right now, there's like a huge push to be like super productive and like get so much done in one day, and that can lead to some detrimental things for your mental health, okay? You can only go 100 miles per hour for so long. Eventually, you will need to take a break or risk getting burnt out. So, whenever I feel like I need to take a break, I just take it, whether that's like taking an evening to myself to do nothing or a couple days. It just depends. And I just give that to myself whenever I need it, except right now when I'm in prep because I can't do that. Like I said, prep is extreme, prep is unbalanced, and prep is hard. Okay. But usually I do give myself breaks when I do need them. Burnout is not worth it. And if you take breaks when you need it, you will be able to keep going for longer and get more done. On to the main point of this episode. I wanted to list some common reasons we get the feeling that we have no motivation. And number one I put was burnout, which is, I Googled, defined as an ongoing state of feeling overwhelmed, fatigued, and emotionally drained. Yeah, that sounds awful. But anyway, it's kind of how I feel right now. If you are normally active and a productive person, burnout is going to feel like failure to you. And nobody wants to feel like they failed. So let's avoid that. Yeah. If you have good systems in place and maintain these systems for productivity, you will be better off in the long run. Promise. Another thing I wanted to mention in this point is stress. Too much stress can lead to a lack of motivation and productivity because you just get so overwhelmed to a point that you just shut down because of you can't handle the stress any longer. A couple other reasons for lack of motivation that I haven't really discussed are fear of failure and perfectionism. I've definitely experienced all of these and they're not fun and can definitely make you feel like you lack motivation or you failed. That is a common emotion, honestly. So, upon my research onto this topic, I've come across a few different technical techniques that you can use to increase your productivity and get more done in less time, I guess I would say. I'm going to briefly explain what each of them is, and then I will give you some easier tips that I personally use to increase your productivity. So the first one I researched is the Pomodoro theory. I think that's how you pronounce that. This is when you work in short, focused bursts with frequent breaks. Some examples of this could be like you do 25 minutes of work, you take a 5-minute break. Or you do 30 minutes of work, take a 10-minute break, something like that. You are focused for a short amount of time and remain focused so that you can have a break. Okay, are you following? Okay, good. I don't really use this technique because I'm crazy. And when I start a task, I will finish it. I don't like to stop and take frequent breaks in between trying to get stuff done. You know what I mean? It doesn't really work very well for me. The next one, which I do all the time, but I didn't realize this is what it was called, is called the Eisenhower Matrix. This is when you prioritize tasks based on importance and urgency. Wow, I can't even believe I can do this right now. It must be the energy drink. It's 9 o'clock and I just had an energy drink. I probably shouldn't have done that. Anyway, I keep a running to-do list in my reminders app on my phone, and I will because you can hold and move the tasks around, I will put the most important ones at the top of the list so that every time I scroll past that page on my phone, I can see this list and I'll see like the first 4 things on the list so I can know that those need to be done soon. I also set reminders so that my phone will remind me that they need done. So our phones have a lot of technology on them for productivity, surprisingly. Actually, that's not really surprising, but your phone can be very helpful in your productivity. So yeah, I would say I use this technique a lot. I just didn't realize this was what it was called. But I love a to-do list, and I just like keep a running tab of things that need done in my phone because I look at it all the time. And it's not like if I write it on paper, I might lose it. You know what I mean? This just helps me keep track of everything and know what needs done when. Yeah, so as I was saying, technology is great for productivity. I've been really trying to get more on the digital side of planning things because my phone goes everywhere with me. So if I keep all of this on my phone, I can see it every day whenever I want to. I will say another thing is like having all these Apple products, which I'm not like trying to say Apple's the best, but like I have the computer, the phone, the iPad, they're all connected. So anything I do on my phone, I can pull up on my computer later and vice versa. It makes it really helpful. All right, the last technical one is time blocking. This is when you allocate time slots for different tasks. This can help maintain focus and limit multitasking. You know how they say like multitasking isn't real, you can't really multitask? Do we know if that's true or not? Maybe. I don't, actually, it might be. I don't think you can really multitask. You can try all you want. I just don't, if you're multitasking, are you giving all your effort to one? No. So, in that sense, is it practical? No. I don't think it is. But if you time block, you have one block of time for one task. So you can't, it might help you stop trying to multitask. But when I have time to do this, I do this on my Apple like calendar app. I'll just like I'll put everything in there. Like when I get up to do my cardio, when I start getting ready for work, when I go to work, when I get home, what do I plan on doing? And I'll make a time slot and kind of try to allocate how much time I think that task will take. Like editing, for example. I always put editing on my calendar and I usually do it for like an hour and a half and then I'll move on to something else. That way I'm not just spending one single day on one thing. You know, you get it? Yeah, you get it. I like to visually see where my time is going. And I think time blocking is a good way for you to be able to see exactly what you're spending your time on the most. Okay, so now I'm going to give you some more general productivity tips that I think could be useful. And they're kind of easier to implement than the ones I talked about previously. Less technical, if you will. I like to try different things for productivity because I always find that some things work better than others, and it's nice to be able to try different techniques and see which I like the best. The number one thing I want to talk about in this category is using technology wisely. And I'm saying this because, like I just mentioned, technology and softwares can really help with your productivity, but it can also distract you from productivity. I really like to use Notion, like web browser Notion, to organize all my online tasks. So I have a to-do list in there also that I update regularly. And I also track all my content on Notion. I just started doing this and I really like it because it's just an all-in-one place to be able to see where everything's happening. I can schedule when things are going to be uploaded. I can schedule when I'm going to film things. And it's just a big place because before I started using Notion, I was just writing all that stuff down on paper and it gets lost, you know. I can't keep track of everything. When you're relying heavily on technology to help with your productivity, you have to really make sure you're not letting it distract you from what you actually need to get done. Something I've been wanting to try, but I've been too sissy to, is limiting how long I can spend on social media platforms a day. I think this would be great not only for my mental health, but also my productivity. I would probably get so much done if I couldn't just like pick up my phone and scroll when I felt like I didn't want to do anything anymore. You know what I mean? I think, yeah, social media is a huge distraction. And I think if I just like limited myself off the apps, I could probably get more done. So I might have to try that. The second thing I want to talk about is setting boundaries. I think you need to set clear boundaries for yourself between work and like your personal time, especially if you work for yourself. Now, I know I don't work for myself, obviously. I have a full-time job, but YouTube is my hobby. And if there is something else that I'd rather do on the weekends, I will just push all my YouTube stuff to the side and really not get anything done. So I kind of have to start telling myself no, and that I need to focus on YouTube today. That's easier said than done, but that's something I want to work on. So I figured it was nice to bring up. The third thing, and probably one of my most important, is to create a routine. Routines are awesome. I don't think I would survive if I didn't have like a normal daily routine. It helps me feel normal and like keep up on things, I feel like. I don't like change. I like consistency. And if I have a consistent routine, there's nothing better in my eyes. Nothing better. Also, along with just daily routines in general, is a morning routine. Your morning dictates your whole day. If you have a bad morning, your whole day is going to be bad. So I think you really need to set your mornings up for success. I love mornings. Okay. I have to be at work at 7. Do you know what time I wake up? If I didn't have to do cardio, I would probably wake up at 4 a.m. so that I could have an hour to just kind of drink my coffee and relax before I have to start getting ready. I know that's freaking crazy. I know. I love a slow, relaxing morning, and I don't just keep those for the weekends. I do that every day. I'm nuts. So your morning sets the tone for the day. Make it good. Okay? Set a morning routine. It will literally change your life. I swear. Obviously, my mornings are pretty good on the weekends because I can sleep in, but even when I can't sleep in, I still like to have a good morning. So big morning gal over here. Okay, well, I think that's kind of all I have for today's episode. That was kind of quick and to the point, but I hope you enjoyed. I hope this helped some of you with your productivity and lack of motivation. I think this is kind of kickstart me to try to keep improving my productivity and work on some of these things I talked about, because I have been severely lacking the motivation. Okay. If you're interested in more of me or my moving content I'm going to be making soon, subscribe and let me know down below if you have any other topic ideas for these episodes. I have a going list of ideas that I have been pulling from, and I'll probably never run out of ideas, honestly, because I just love to yap. But yeah, I am open to suggestions. And I will see you guys next week.